My name is Megan, and this is my story. I gave my life to the Lord when I was a young child. I grew up in church, was very active in church. I knew a lot of the Word. But I guess around my teenage years is when I started to rebel. I stopped going to church, I stopped praying, I really stopped having a relationship with God. When I was about 23 years old, I met a man that I thought was the one for me. We got married and had two beautiful little boys, and everything was good up until probably around after my first son was born. I saw a different side of my husband. He turned very angry and violent. I started getting really depressed because I was being distanced from my family and my friends. I was put down all the time, saying that I was worthless. Nobody would want me. It was really hard to hear these things and to be treated the way that I was treated by someone that I thought was the person I was supposed to spend my life with. When I was a child, I was raised that when you marry someone, it's for life. But I also knew that God would not want me or my kids to be living in fear. And I tried everything I knew to do to save my marriage, but it just kept escalating. It got worse, and I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't feel safe, and I knew God didn't want that for me. I completely lost who I was as a person. I definitely didn't have God in my life. All I had was my boys. I do think that God gave me my little boys for a reason, because I needed them as much as they needed me. I don't think that I would be here today if I didn't have them, because they're the reason why I kept fighting. I didn't want my boys to keep seeing and hearing the things that they did. One day after a huge fight, I was sitting in the floor crying, and my then 2-year-old came up to me and he hugged me, and then he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Mommy, it's okay, I love you." And I knew that I had to get myself and my boys out of that situation. I didn't want them growing up thinking that it was okay to treat people like that, or to think that it was okay to be treated like that. So I finally got enough courage and strength to get us out of there. I left with my boys. It was a very long fight back and forth in court, dealing with restraining orders and just trying to make sure that my boys were safe. But I did it. I got a really good job to provide for me and my kids. I now have full custody of my boys. We are all three very happy and safe and stable. But I was very angry and very bitter. For a very long time, I was embarrassed, and I was even ashamed, because there were times when I would question God and ask why were these things happening to me? What did I do to deserve it? Why did my boys have to witness the things that they witnessed? And then I would be mad at myself, because everything that I went through, God was still there for me. He never left me. He got us out of that situation. So I came to Focus earlier this year with my parents. I didn't really open myself up. I didn't feel like I deserved God's forgiveness. But about the second time that I came, at the end of the service, Pastor Mike asked if anybody felt like they needed to give their life to the Lord, and I didn't hold it back. I just felt this, I can't even describe, but I could not stop crying. And I just felt, as soon as I started praying to God, I felt this huge weight lifted off of me. And I knew this is what I need to do. I need to show my boys that it doesn't matter how far gone you think you are or how alone you feel, God is always there. He never leaves you. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted, and that I am worthy of love. I have found myself again. So I want to be baptized and start this new chapter in my life. I have a relationship with God now. If I'm down, or if I feel alone, or I don't know what to do, then I talk to God. It gives me peace. that's a good thing to have. Super excited about getting baptized and starting this new chapter in my life. I know God has a lot planned for me and my family, and the best is definitely yet to come.